Have you ever tried to sneak up on an enemy, but he somehow knew exactly where you were coming from? That's probably because he has his settings set the way that we're going to talk about today. In this video, we're going to talk about something that you can do that if you're not doing currently, you are really hampering yourself on the battlefield. I firmly believe that this one setting can elevate your game to the next level. I will admit that this strategy can be unpopular within certain players within the community. I know I'll probably get a lot of heat from veteran War Thunder players who disagree with this tactic, but I honestly think there's a lot of new players or inexperienced players that don't know how much of a help this is. So if it helps them even the playing field, then I'm all about it. And that is adjusting the different sound effect volumes. The reason why sound in War Thunder is so incredibly important because it's one of the one aspects of the game that is true. And what I mean by true is it is unchangeable. For example, a player can adjust the visual representation of their tank by putting bushes on it to confuse you, to make themselves harder to be seen, but they cannot adjust the sound or the level of volume that their engine emits. They don't have any control over that whatsoever. So if you can learn to develop your listening skills in the game to help you detect enemies better and more often. Let's go over the settings that I use, and then we'll jump into two examples that really highlight how effective these can be. So the first place you want to go is your session settings and then to sound. And the main ones we are going to be focusing on here is other players' engine volume and my engine volume. And as you can see, I have other players' engines volume at max and then mine at minimum. Also, I've dropped my sound effects volume a little bit, and I've dropped my master volume down to 25. My main purpose for adjusting these settings the way it is, I care about enemies and threats to me. And that's what this setting setup lets me do. It lets me hone in on specifically the sounds that represent a threat to me in the immediate area. It's important to note that other players' engine volume also includes your allies. So if you're fighting around a group of allies and they are moving, they are going to be incredibly loud. And another caveat to this too is whenever you're in ground RB and the enemies have airplanes up or you have airplanes up, the airplane engines are going to be insanely loud, which can help you if you're an SPA determine what direction they're coming from, but can also prevent you from hearing enemy tanks. So you're just going to have to play with these and determine what your threshold is. But generally speaking, as long as your engine volume is really low and the master volume is significantly low, you should do all right. Let's jump into our first example. We'll watch it at real time, no commentary, and then we'll go back and analyze it. I heard a Russian tank engine, and we were sitting there waiting for them to drive out in front of us. That KV did, and I shot him and killed him. I thought that KV was the Russian engine that I heard, so I turned around the other way, thinking I had eliminated the only threat. However, once I got turned around, I heard another Russian engine spool up really loud. He clearly knew where I was because he waited for me to spin around before he tried to pop out and get an ambush shot. But because we heard his engine the moment he pressed his W key, we were able to spin back around really quickly and engage him before he was able to engage us. So we essentially foiled his ambush attempt. Even with all that ambient noise going on, we still heard that guy's engine start up. And it was clear as day. Let's jump into example 2, which gave us the upper hand in a 2v1. We initially saw that OF-40 moving towards the A cap, so we pushed up to try and get a shot at him while he was traversing from left to right. And then, out of nowhere, we heard that engine spool up behind us that turned out to be an Italian car. We were able to spin around and then take out the car. After we took out the car, we knew the OF-40 was heading towards A, and we were probably assuming that he heard the car get killed, so I was anticipating him to come around the backside of the hill and flank me. Once we got on the backside of the hill, I heard an engine spool at the top of the hill. So we turned our hull and turret to face the top of the hill, and we sat there quietly waiting for him to come over the edge, which he did, and we were able to take him out. So using these sound settings, we were able to effectively eliminate 2 enemy vehicles. In all honesty, I probably could have made this video half the length. And if any of you have watched any of my other tutorials up to this point, you get the sense that I am a very big believer in showing you plenty of examples of why or what to do. I don't just like telling players what to do, I like showing them why this works and how this gives me success. That way it's more believable on your end. Now the decision is in your hands. Do you want to adjust your sound settings even though a lot of people don't like it? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you so much for your support as always, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, and subbing. I greatly appreciate your support as always. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.